Welcome back to another issue. I'm Beastie Boy.
I'm Table.
I'm Red.
And it is I, Shino Brando.
And in this issue, we revisit one of the badass vampire hunters of the 90s, Blade.
So, a little bit of background. This movie was released on August 21st, 1998. It was directed by Stephen Norrington. It was written by David S. Goyer. If that name sounds familiar, it's because he also wrote The Suicide Squad, the bad one, and also, I believe, Spawn. It had a budget of $45 million. It made a box office of $131.2 million. And this is our first R-rated movie on the channel.
Did you know that 37% of you aren't subscribed to the channel on YouTube? You can help change that by hitting the subscribe button just below the video. And now back to the show.
Yeah, I guess it is. Speaking of that, I was there day one when this movie dropped. But I was just a Bobby Shino. I wasn't supposed to be in that theater. Mama Brando snuck me in there by getting me a ticket for whatever random Disney movie was out at the time. And so she just kind of like snuck me in, made sure that no usher saw me. And I just kind of walked in there and just tucked away somewhere and watched that movie. And I was just like, yeah, this movie changed my life because one, he had a black dude on screen. Two, he's playing a badass. Three, he had just been exposed on Spider-Man, the animated cartoon, not too long before. So I was just like, oh, wow, I'm getting more Blade content. So like I was all about Blade for a while. But not like a fine wine, more like an aged cheese. It's got some good and some bad to it. Let's see, how do you want to get started on this?
I think the best place to start is the beginning of this movie. And this isn't an origin movie for a superhero. It boggles the mind.
It hits the points it has to, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly. And that story is told throughout the entire piece of cinema. And it's really to its favor.
But really gonna open up your movie with a birthing scene, huh? One way to earn that R rating ASAP.
Yeah, you gotta shove it in your face somehow. Here, rated R.
There was a lot of shoving going on.
Oh yeah. First, we travel along with stupid idiot dude who's following around hot chick into obvious slaughterhouse where slaughtering is gonna happen. Where he walks into yet another '90s Matrix cool club where people are dancing to random techno.
You know what? Hang on. Let me
straight up walks past a human body. Doesn't clock it as.
Doesn't clock. Concerning. What's that? What do you think it is?
What does it look like, bud?
Over there trying to like pull off a Matrix and then it's a shower.
Oh, you mean blood orgy? Because one, I thought you guys need to consume that. Two, I thought that shit's precious to you. Three, why are you wasting it for? Who the fuck has a tank hooked up to that much blood for that to happen? What
actually bothers me the most is following that. People aren't just like slipping all the time. The floor is covered in blood. That's a fluid.
And then miraculously, the only person who isn't covered in blood in the room is Blade, of course.
Well, he brought up Umbrella.
He's too busy looking cool.
I guess cool aura just must burn away everything around you.
No. You said it wrong. Black Air Force energy. That's what that was.
Black Air Force energy. Understood.
Nailed it.
I was gonna say maybe he just caught it all in his mouth perfectly.
Jesus. Man's like, okay, I'm good for the fight.
Do you want him to have one more sweet action pose in this movie?
Fuck yes. So he has so many.
It's like, this dude is the hero, ? Yes, he is, because he looks cool doing it.
Especially since you walk into a blood orgy club, and instead of everybody swarming you and beating you to death, they decide to fight you one by one, and you win somehow, some way.
And even when it was a group fight, like, he was still throwing hands left and right, and just like, no, you're done. Like, I don't know why you jumped me, because, like, you know you're dead. You saw your buddy flying literally just, like, 2 seconds ago.
And after he pretty much Jesus Christ pins a guy to a wall, he lets the dude set on fire. And then I guess that leads us to our hospital scene. It's just like, Blade, why did you just kill the dude?
You know what? Variety is the spice of life. Sometimes you gotta make it hurt a little.
True.
You think Blade's not having fun while he's doing this?
It's like you're watching this vampire hunter, but on the low key part of things, it's just like, my God, this man's a sadist.
For the titular character, this dude doesn't say much.
No, he does not.
Every time he speaks, it's plot.
His feelings are his business, not yours.
He has feelings?
Exactly.
At least one.
There's definitely a later scene where he's definitely experiencing a feeling.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get into that later. By the way, before we jump away from this bloodbath scene, this swordsmanship or the fighting style, I guess he used in the bathhouse scene while like he was fighting the group. That Loki was kind of like pretty good for its time in action scenes wise, keeping it all in one shot too. I was like,
I'll give it to you right now that Wesley Snipes has always been one of the greatest martial artists on screen. He will always put his best into that, and swordplay is one of his best things too. So I don't know if you caught Blade 2, but in Blade 2, his sword choreography is top notch. Like, he's good at it, man. He's really good at it. So like here it feels like, it's like simple choreography, but enough to make the crowd feel like, ooh, that was badass. Ooh.
So then we get dragged to the hospital with this creepy guy. And also Karen, our lead character.
Audience insert, you know the drill.
Where we establish that apparently Karen and this other dude have had a relationship.
And he really says it in like the most I'm about to break up with you kind of way. But like from her perspective, he like asks if she's sure about their relationship. And you know what? If you ask that, you're already in trouble, buddy.
Also take in that she also happens to be a hematologist. Somehow, some way, in this movie about vampires and blood, your carry along for this whole adventure happens to also be a hematologist.
The smartest lady on the block, I'm telling you. But like the corpse that they're analyzing, holy shit. There's a lot of like production work put into all of the bodies that go down.
New Line Cinema was always really good for their prosthetic work. CG work was always questionable from their studio.
Questionable,
but their prosthetic work has always been top notch. They helped with the Ninja Turtle costumes, the Guyver costume. Man, their studio was good for that. But CG was kind of always their weak point.
They did Spawn,
Mortal Kombat, Blade, but we'll get to that.
That kind of makes a bit more sense for later scenes, but okay.
It is also nice in the era of CG to look at a studio that just puts the fucking work in on their practical effects.
Oh yeah.
But so they're investigating a body.
His name's Quinn.
The loser?
Yeah, the loser lackey for Frost is Quinn.
Well, turns out the body that they're looking at, not fucking dead. Well, yes, but no, because vampires. And this goes exactly the way you would expect a sudden vampire in a hospital assault to go, which is to say violence ensues. And we get the cool Blade entrance part 2.
As for somehow, some way, he's keeping tabs on nurses being assaulted by vampires.
He just walks in to the 7th floor of a hospital. How did you get there?
I'll tell you what, right now, before he got there, he was actually checking out the maternity ward. Like, ooh, that baby's cute.
Gucci, Gucci, goo.
Oh my God.
Most of this movie,
what?
If you boil it down, it's because Blade has to look cool. And he does, don't get me wrong, but like, Jesus.
Every shot is designed to make sure he looks cool in it. If he's not in it, then fuck knows what's going on.
And how did you get in there with guns? You know what? I'm not even ask questions anymore, man.
We all know a lot of security ramped up in the 2000s. Maybe hospitals didn't always check if you had a katana. You know?
Table.
Maybe that wasn't on the list.
Table. I'm going to tell you right now, in the United States, a large black male drenched in all black with possible weapons underneath is not walking to that hospital without notice. I am telling you.
He's not walking anywhere without notice. But Speaking of that, the security, rent-a-cop, whatevers, do try to shoot him.
Which, oh my God, that scene still killed me. Because I wasn't expecting him to go all like Black Dad on him.
Just real. Just get real. Motherfuckers, are you goddamn mine?
Yeah. Like,
are you for real?
He's like, I'm trying to save you.
To which this man then decides to throw Karen out the building onto another building. Did you know there was stuff there to catch her fall? Did you care?
You know what? If he's a serial baby seer, comes to see babies, maybe that's his usual exit.
Right through the window, just chucking people and running.
Also, like, with the force he would have had to throw in her to carry her that far, she's broken her arm.
Oh, yeah, she's injured now.
And then the fact that he looks back at the cops, like whoever's shooting at him, and he smiles because this is like you said, it's a Tuesday for Blade. It's a Tuesday.
And then
he runs out
stares right in the camera, smiles, and goes, heh, and just goes.
Just jumps out the window. He relocates her arm back in place. Blade, thanks a lot. This has been a wild night. I got my neck bit, got my arm broke. Thanks. This has been fun. This has been fun. What a wild ride.
And now we're gonna hop in the car and away we go.
Away we go.
And instead of, the normal response to, civilian got bit by a vampire, a shame, a tragedy, steak, he decides to help her for reasons.
He had a flashback of his mom, which is impossible because you were just born and there's no way you know what your mom's face looks like. There's no fucking possible way. I don't care. Oh wait, no. I think they had her license still, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
they have her license.
But still, the fact remains that you don't know what she looked like on that scene on the way out. You were just birthed. I call dibs. I call shenanigans on that. And then we're introduced to the most 90s douchebag of all douchebags, and his name is Deacon Frost. With a face you just want to punch and a haircut that just screams douche.
He breathes and you go, asshole.
So listen, as a group, we watched another movie called Mama's Boy.
Yes.
That dude in the leather trench coat dialed up to 11.
He is hyper JP. Yeah, for real.
Not like as geeky, but yes.
Yes.
Like if you took My Chemical Romance and stuffed it into one person, that's him.
Even like be blessed Steven Dorff for taking the role because he has now a hate for superhero movies, especially in this decade. He was every 90s guy rolled into one dude. This from the wardrobe he had. That's how every dude dressed back in that time. Especially if you want to come off like you're a pretentious rich douchebag. Oh, man.
He makes a great foil for Blade.
You mean infinitely a loser in every possible way, while Blade is being cool as fuck in every possible way? Yeah,
Exactly.
It's that kid trying to be cool compared to the kid who's actually fucking cool.
But also in what both characters want, right? Deacon wants to take down this clandestine organization that he's kind of sort of part of the Council of Vamps, as per se.
because they're vampire racist.
Yep.
Exactly. And on top of that all, it's like, oh, you can't do that. You're not a pure blood.
They brought him there because they wanted to shit on him. Just because for the fact of like, you keep making all these goddamn nightclubs and we keep attracting the attention of fucking Blade. Can you stop that, please?
And he looked at all of them and said,
How about new?
He basically looked at me and was just like, I like techno too much. Fuck you.
but like, no, talking about like characters, like Blade wants to just take down all the vampires and so does Deacon Frost. But the way they both go about the same goal.
Well, no, Deacon just wanted to become vampire god and thus establish like
Well, he wanted to take out
vampire
the old
dominance.
vampires.
Yeah, he wanted to take out those guys because he's just like, well, they're just gonna be vampire racist, but like he wanted to be all inclusive, right? Inclusion. You know what, Deacon Frost? You know what? Thank you. You wanted to be all inclusive. That's good on you. Progressive.
On the opposite side, we have Blade's best buddy in the whole world, Whistler.
If pain embodied somebody,
If exposition was a man.
it's Whistler.
Every time this man opened his mouth, he's like, how about I just spew backstory and exposition onto those less fortunate?
He went, I am here to explain everything.
You don't get the plot? Here, give me a second. I got you.
The dialogue that comes out of him is stationary.
Oh yeah, very.
There's nothing to it besides if you got a question about the plot, you go to this guy, you ask him one question, he mind dumps on you, and then he walks away.
Best video game ever. Just go for information. Press A for more dialogue.
That's exactly what he is.
How do you describe pain in one person? You just bring up Whistler, cigarettes and liquor, fucking leg harness for whatever reason. Never explain what the injury is there for. Just there, and just painful backstory of losing his entire family. Although that shit is retconned. Played Trinity, but we're not ever gonna talk about that shit.
But flipping back to our evil side for a hot second, it's time to meet some side characters.
Go on.
Where we've got Quinn being a surfer bro, Mercury being the unsung hero of this fucking movie, and having her dressed in white when all the other like vampiric characters are very much dressed in black and stoic. It made her stick out more than she probably should, because she didn't do very much.
You genuinely could have replaced her with a lamp with a feather boa.
There it is.
Sexy lamp. Sexy
Return to the lamp.
Wait, you mean that wasn't a lamp?
Mercury definitely licks Deacon, so definitely not a lamp. Or the
By the way,
weirdest
can we
lamp
just-
I've ever seen.
By the way, that scene, that was somebody's like vampire porn right there. Not gonna lie.
Exactly, somebody's vampire porn.
I'm not wrong. Twilight wish it was that scene. I swear to God.
We've got a handful of other characters like Pearl. Pearl I didn't like. Pearl made me feel icky looking at him.
Oh my God.
Like it just gave me like blob energy from X-Men, and I went, no.
No.
Oh, that
please
big.
That gave you that gave you blob energy. That came off like Mojo for me.
I see how, but Christ. But like the torture scene with this dude, holy crap.
Yeah, dude was looking a whole bit nasty.
A bit nasty.
Yeah,
It's
it got worse and
icky.
worse as the torture was going on. It just,
Yo, what if I told you back in the day when I saw that in theaters and I was eating my popcorn, I stopped.
I wouldn't doubt it. I would no longer have hunger.
I was like, I don't want my cholesterol to be that high. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna put this on pause right
At that moment, your brain was like, you know what? I should eat that salad mom made.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna eat mom's food from now on. Yeah.
Go back to concession.
So remind me a little bit how we get to the subway, because we got to end up there.
You forget, so they go through the whole club there, the nightclub with the screaming Japanese girls making a performance. That was super good to hear. That was very super cool to hear. Then they're running through that whole room of like scriptures that are written on obvious fucking skin. Then Blade gets into a fight with a little black girl for some reason, and he kicks the shit out of the black girl for like. And I'm like, God damn, guys, really? Then they all get swarmed in the room because Deacon knew they were there, and then Whistler shows up. It was just like, Deus Ex Machina. Fucking Whistler shows up, blows up a hole in the wall, and then they run out to the subway. Then they get chased through the tunnels, right? And then the subway scene looks fucking horrible as fuck.
And that's where we need to like chat about this, because this movie does a lot with its practical effects, and this is where it suffered.
The practical effects are fine. The CG effects are, again, it's New Line Cinema in there. That's always questionable.
Less than ideal. Because again, 98, I'm willing to forgive some bad CG, but the subway is not good. Just not. But I was willing to forgive it. Okay? I was willing to let it slide. But once you complete the movie, you're like, you know what? I think I have to take my forgiveness back, actually. They shouldn't have done it then, and they shouldn't have done it in the finale. And doing it here makes them think they can get away with it in the finale, and that's bad.
It looked terrible,
My
man.
big problem with it is it's very, very flashing lights.
Bright light, a lot of flashing, a lot of strobe effect from the train passing by, and it's not very slow paced either. It's very like quick frames here and there. Also, so it's very jarring. So it's just like, oh my god,
like
your eyes are all over the place.
Like coming from a modern age of movie cutting and effects that way, watching that, I was like, that almost made me sick.
Yeah, it's very disjarring, man. It's like all over the place.
And then when Blade decides to grab the back of the train and the rubber arm effect that twirls him and Karen around.
Yeah.
Weird.
All right. I didn't realize he ate a gum fruit, but here we are.
Oh, you didn't know he was Monkey D. Luffy? Come on.
I didn't.
She has to set his arm back in place, but I'm like, but wait, hold on for a second.
Yeah.
Because we're going to go back to exposition number 1. Because Whistler said that he had all the strengths of a vampire and none of their weaknesses, but he dislocates his arm?
A fail in the plot? Yes.
What's that? A plot hole? Never heard of her.
He doesn't dislocate his arm because it's super strong or whatever. He dislocates his arm because it gives the opportunity for him to look cool while she sets it, okay?
Even at that, we're back in the room where they got caught. He's getting tased.
Yeah, I don't get that one.
That one, yeah, didn't make sense for me either. I was like,
You're superhuman. I thought you're like a vamp. That shit won't hurt Deacon Frost, would it? So why would it hurt? Like, it doesn't make any sense. I was like, okay, well, I guess we're forgetting his power sets now, but all right. Plot convenience.
The only way to get him in a cell is to knock him sort of unconscious, and the only way to knock him sort of unconscious, I guess, is a taser.
Which would have to have the voltage of fucking Thor, man. It makes no sense.
Right? They kind of went, our next scene involves him in a cell. How do we get him in the cell? And no one could think of a good answer, so they went with tasers.
Even when they infiltrate, when they infiltrate everything, finally meet your mom for somehow, some way, because like Deacon kept her alive anyways for some
one of the most awkward scenes we've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so they rip off this man's shirt, and I was the happiest guy.
You were mad, were you?
I was not. Damn, dude.
Wesley Snipes is ripped. Yeah.
Like, I get that he's like ripped and he's supposed to be built and he's got to like be built a certain way to do all these performances that he's putting on for not just us, the audience, but like whoever happens to be looking at the direction of him. But like, damn, dude, thank you for that. And then they strapped him up, and then his mom got reintroduced in that scene a little bit.
Yeah, and got all Oedipus Rex on everybody.
I wish that one hadn't gone down.
I know, we all do.
I just don't see what the point of her getting all intimate with him.
I'll tell you that I started eating my popcorn again at that part.
Jesus.
There it is.
It was a weird move. I'm your long lost mother who you thought was dead. I'm going to get very personal with you.
Let me make sure you smell me. Like,
stop.
And the very clear words from Blade. And I'm like, thank you, son. He's just like, don't touch me.
It's like, please.
He has very clear and explicit boundaries, and normally he'll enforce them with a sword.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Just mom wants him to use a different sword this time. No, thank you, mom. We don't do that here.
This is an Alabama.
You're in the wrong franchise.
Well, at that point, Blade is caught, then he's trapped, and then he's bled for Deacon's ultimate plan of... Well, first and foremost, we gotta remind everybody that, yes, before we get to all that murder, we have to talk about the sunscreen. The stupid sunscreen. And how this helps them withstand being in the sun somehow, some way.
Look, I'm going to be really honest with you guys. I am very familiar with high power sunscreen because if I look outside, I'm at risk of burning. There is not sunscreen strong enough in the world to really save you at the end of the day. There just isn't. So I want their vampire sunscreen. Please.
Right? Were you rubbing straight zinc on your body?
Jeez.
Like, what the fuck, man? And then so they killed the fucking French vampire dude or Italian vampire dude, I think, man.
Yeah.
He's Italian.
That CG is fucking chef's kiss, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's something.
I'm pretty sure Spawn would look at it and be like, oh, wow, that's our work again. Like, that scene was so bad.
I'm like, first and foremost, your consistency is all wrong here. Dude, usually these dudes just explode. Why am I watching this guy melt to levels?
Goo man. Goo
Raiders
boy.
of the Lost Ark, this is not.
What do you mean the mummy freaking was watching this? Was like, hey, they looked at this and they're like, hey, can we do that? I don't know what they were doing, but it was not working.
But it was goopy. It was gross. Is what it was.
It was just icky.
Oh man, what a stupid SC, man. They hadn't used their R rating hard enough yet, so they're just like, we have to insert something now. What do we do? Melt this guy? Sure, no problem.
I guess so. Have you ever microwave silly putty? Do it like that,
right? No problem.
Jesus. They dragged that death for no reason, too.
Oh.
Like, man's burning up, and I was like, you could just be burnt to ashes right now. You don't need to melt like this.
The plot can still happen, thank you. But no, we got goop to deal with.
But it gets worse from here.
Oh, I know.
It does, because when they stumble across the plans for the living vampire god, what fucking computer did they make these on? Because I swear to you, this was made with leftover budget.
You're not wrong.
Polygons.
It's just all polygons.
Like, okay, I get we're gonna do a thing, and like it's gonna look all like this. And they showed it like 4 or 5 times just to make sure we got it, right? The same footage, not at different angle, in the same like space. No. Blocks, my guy, hear me out. And then we actually got to where they're putting Blade into the thing that binds him. And I was like, oh no, it couldn't be that blocky. Haha, it's just early.
Which I'm just going to comment, by the way, is some type of ancient temple thing that you're supposed to use to summon this blood god, and it's centralized in New York for some reason.
Actually, it's in New Orleans. He's reading a paper earlier, and it's today's paper. It's in New Orleans.
Oh, whatever. It's in someone's town, just there.
Underground ruins, plot reasons.
I don't know either.
What I just didn't need was 4 shots of beta Minecraft. That's not what I needed.
You said you want it? He goes, we'll do it again.
Red, that wasn't beta Minecraft. That was alpha Minecraft.
You are correct.
Right? And if you weren't tired of Karen's douche boyfriend beforehand, guess what? You got second serving of zombie boyfriend.
Yeah, because they hugged her down a fucking pit.
He's back with a vengeance.
There is no way the concept of that scene doesn't have its origins in Star Wars with its Luke versus the Rancor.
Oh, yes. You felt it, didn't you?
I felt something, but it was not modesty.
No, it was not. Complete with using bone to climb out the fucking pit as well.
Honestly. That's exactly what Karen did. Just beat him real hard and then just left.
And all he can do is lie there and just keep screaming Karen.
Karen, please.
It's like, no, we could never go back to what we had before.
You're dead.
And I think most importantly, you're fucking needy, man.
It's not me, it's you. I'm going.
It is you.
And you ain't smelling so good either, so like, I gotta go.
I have to have a one-on-one female fight because movie demands this.
There's a trope we gotta partake in. Hang on.
And so Blade is bled out. I think, doesn't he not kill his own mom?
He does, yeah. When
she repeats.
Yeah, Karen frees him after they bled him really dry. And then
Karen's like, feed on me, I'll recharge your battery. He's like, thank you for the juice. Ooh, you taste like high C. I like high C.
Yo, no,
Yeah.
can't.
Well,
Can we
okay.
that scene?
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
scene. Let me just give you a second. That whole thing, bro. I kid you not. Let alone the guy dying from the sun rays and all that without the extra protection, sunscreen, whatever. They were sucking on that neck for a hot minute. I was like, hey man. I was like, okay, you got some blood in you. I was like, hey, you good, man? That's enough, man. You good?
Can I have my juice box back? No.
Yeah.
And then I heard the words "don't stop," and I'm like, "Oh, Blade, hang on, wait, hang on, movie."
That's
like,
enough
why?
slices. Like,
Again, gotta earn the R rating.
I need more juice. I need more tropical punch.
no.
Because that whole scene is a whole ritual between like Deacon Frost ascending and Blade just sucking on the neck, and this is like it is so long.
It's A, very, very long, and B, yo, why did it have to be so sexual though?
Well, vampires usually relate to that, don't they? I mean, the whole movie's like that. I mean, I swear to God,
inherently horny. Red. I don't know what to tell you.
Believe I saw what's her name, Mercury, suck on fucking Deacon Frost's tongue, dude. And I was just like, well, I mean, that's yummy.
Everything was coded in sexuality, coded in that, but then you get Blade going in on Karen, like, dude.
I told you, I like high C. I'm gonna drink the whole box. Fucking went in. And of course, like a good guy he is, he runs, he grabs his gear, sunglasses and all, and proceeds to go beat ass. All the cheeks.
No, he doesn't get his sunglasses until he kicks the crap out of that dude, and he grabs him in midair and puts him on his face like the most badass guy to ever hit the fucking screen.
Oh yeah,
that was the most beautiful execution ever.
Yeah, he uses his fucking his wire, his fucking copper wire, just pulls off a fucking head and grabs the shades and is like, okay, Jeeks will now be beaten.
Oh, to start with my time right now.
We got a final boss to go deal with.
That's right. Level up now. Last time to level up. Let's go.
This man said, let me do a speed run real quick.
Oh, fuck. That was a speed run, wasn't it?
Exactly.
It was. All those
Holy
characters
shit.
set up like, no. Fucking exposition. We're going to go punch some shit.
Oh, yeah. They got all fucked up.
So, gently before we get to the actual final battle, apparently this is a recut version of the final battle. Because
really
in
now?
Preliminary screenings, Deacon's like second form where he's a big goop monster, that was also gonna fight Blade. And
I'm glad they chose not to put in the goop monster.
Yeah, and during test screenings it didn't go over very well. So then they played the sword fight scene for the test audiences, and they much preferred that.
Ah, okay.
You know what? Film wise, the way it looks, that would make sense because like it's very like, well, insert scene, sword fight,
and it's a cool sword fight. I just didn't like that it was a sword fight. We got all this vampire power, and you're not going to come at him with like true carnality. You're going to come at him with a big shiny thing. Okay.
Well, I mean, they make up for that in Blade 2, and that's the reason why I watched that right after. Also,
fair enough. But like, I just
felt
like this ending was missing.
Yeah, that kind of I know that kind of gravitas to it, right? Like you got this blood god, and you have this badass dude who's now all juiced up, and it's just like, well, all right.
And we're sword fighting. Thanks, gentlemen.
Cool. But I will comment that that's because it's Steven Dorff and he would not do choreography because he's Steven Dorff.
Look, I just think that if they wanted to end in a sword fight, it should have been a different antagonist.
Or like
you could have given us an antagonist
or something.
Yeah, that we get to a sword and it makes sense and we're cool and we get to watch that. But
he just had one.
It was a weird move.
Oh well, he can't be too perfect. He had a random katana for some reason.
Exactly. I was like, it's a cool looking sword fight. Don't get me wrong. Don't get that twisted. It just felt strange.
Yeah, just out of nowhere. Like Deacon shows no signs of using a sword at any point in this fucking movie at all, and then randomly has one at the end of the movie. Like, hey guys, random katana.
I've been a swordsman the entire time.
Woo! You know, like what?
How we defeat this villain is Blade continuing to look cool.
Of course.
Because when he gets his sword thrown up where the antidotes are, it does the thing that we've been alluding to, the Schrodinger's sword, if you will, and then it pops open and he grabs that and the sword. He's like, I'm ready. And then just fucking he's dealing out cards. Like,
yeah, but you know what's funny about that scene? Because Deacon Frost takes a fucking stupid ass Morbius jump in the air like an idiot.
It's funny you say that. I've got a fun fact about that when we get to the end.
And then he throws a whole bunch of his fucking serum into him and he explodes. So I mean, yeah.
And that is where peak New Line cinema CGI comes into play. Big
you mean that part?
Monster.
Or do you mean when he got sliced?
Yeah, when he got sliced in half, and he's just like, "What the fuck?" And that pool of CG animated blood was animated as fuck.
Yeah, and then even let alone the hand, just him just being basically apparently stretchy for no reason, like elongated man looking ass for no goddamn reason.
What about the random skull monsters that came out of the fucking vampires when they got their bodies absorbed and they were just flying around?
About that fucking that was the weirdest fucking Michael Jackson Thriller like scene they ever did. I don't know why.
Why did they have skeletal wing structure? We didn't show that vampires could do the wing thing.
I don't know, but their whole entire structure wasn't even the size of a human body, so it doesn't make sense. Vampires apparently have skeleton structure of a fucking gremlin.
Also, let alone that, besides the whole skeletal thing, then they like apparently became fucking ghosts out of the same scene
and imbued this man.
And so my question to Neil Cinnamon is, why'd you do this? Who did this? Because there's a lot of mistakes.
Again, I saw this as a babby child, man. I love this movie, and then as growing up, I'm like, man, this movie's just getting more and more rotten as it goes along. And then I watched it again just like yesterday. I was like, fucking. I mean, I'm gonna always love you because you gave me what I needed at the time. But goddamn, you're not a great movie, are you?
Yeah, you're not doing so hot.
Flawed, I think, is the way to treat it. You know, there's just some core issues here that don't necessarily affect Blade looking cool in every scene. That's consistent, but it does affect the fact the movie is just kind of only okay at best.
But I'm gonna give it to that it helped with the rise of everything that we have now, man. Because like before Blade, there was literally nothing. You had like a really shit Punisher movie with Dolph Lundgren that had really nothing to do with Punisher at all, other than sharing the fucking name. And after that, it was like a lot of like TV movie shit that was all fucking terrible, like Nick Fury, Agents of Shield, and like it was just not a lot of great shit. So when Blade came out, that was just like that was the beginning of everything, man. Like that was it. So like we're like, oh shit, like comic characters can actually be like viable on screen and it can actually make a movie look good. Like and before that, you had just the end of like Batman stuff where like Batman and Robin where it ended, 97.
Yeah,
and everybody thought
nobody liked it. So like.
Yeah, and everybody thought like the superhero genre was like dead at that point for sure, right? And then like Blade was like this like the second renaissance, man.
More to Blade's credit, if you look at the past two POC led superhero movies, unfortunately you get Spawn and then Steel, both movies that were way more expensive than they should have been and
produced nothing
and produced $0 back for all intents and purposes.
Like what did you spend your money on when you hired the guy who did the CG from Jurassic Park?
And they were mid-production on this movie when both of those kind of like ate dirt and they went, let's make it anyway.
Well, he has no origin on paper, so you were free to do whatever you wanted. So you could write whatever you wanted. So again, thanks to this movie, they kind of set an origin for Blade.
A weird setup, but still a setup.
But still a setup. It's there.
As far as origins go, it's actually at this point fairly classic for the vampire genre to have something along these lines. And while I couldn't say whether it came out of Blade or whether someone else did it first, Blade is what I think of when I think of fucked up vampire baby, other than the
fucking Twilight baby.
Twilight baby stuff really can't hurt you.
But I think for just a moment or two, I want to talk about like Marvel is going to be circling back to the Blade franchise with, I can never say his name right. Somebody help me.
Marshala.
Thank you.
Very severe. Marshala Ali.
Marshala Ali as the titular character, and I hope they do it really well.
Well, I hope he ups his choreography because Blade's got to fight really well.
There's a lot of this movie that they need to take into account, and especially that we're already playing in a space of, what does the multiverse mean? How much of the old stuff can we bring back? Does the Blade that already exists somewhere that we're aware of? And is this more of a spiritual successor to this movie? Let's have a full-on reintroduction.
We'll find out, man. It's going to be 24 years later since we've done any live-action Blade content. 20-ish years, I should say. But, I mean, I hope it pans out well. I hope they do it really well. People are asking for Wesley Snipes to come back, but I mean, like, Wesley's kind of up there, guys, and kind of, I mean, he says he'd like to do, but I don't think he could do that kind of capacity like he used to be anymore. So
yeah,
he's just
Blade
like,
4 was rumored in development for a long ass time.
Yeah, so I don't know, but I mean, you best give this guy a cameo though. Respect the man, please.
100% at least.
Exactly. That's where I want to circle back to is, hey, if we're gonna start honoring things from the past at Spidey, can we honor the foundation in which you built your house on? Thanks.
Right. I'm just gonna say that after Blade's content, we got the rush of like X-Men and then Spider-Man, and that was a good ever time. So hopefully that happens here with the MCU because I know they have plans for all that still. So I mean, maybe with the rise of like Blade, we might even get X-Men right after that because that's kind of how it happened back in the day.
So the thing I hadn't brought up was Morbius. You talked about him.
Oh yeah, that silly jump. Yes.
Yes. So it is a deleted scene that was 100% shot that Dr. Michael Morbius was going to be one of the people in Russia where we see at the end.
Oh really now?
Yeah. So Morbius was almost in this movie.
I can't say I'm sad it didn't happen.
I mean, I would have accepted it because I mean that's usually how things go between the two of them. Blade usually ends up fighting Morbius, and they just end up having like a mutual enemy or agreement. Like, oh, you're not so bad, you know? Yeah, you're pretty cool. We could team up sometime, no problem. Imagine that a vampire hunter and a vampire team up together. A couple of cards, aren't we?
Anyway, Beastie, take us out.
You don't want to continue the whole bloodbath of Blade?
I'll get the techno DJ.
A whole bloodbath rave, Jesus Christ.
I'll get the sprinkler system.
But if you'd like to hear more about some badass vampires, vampire hunters per se, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can tune in every Wednesday, and you can catch us streaming live on Mondays and Thursdays at twitch.tv/nerdcrusade. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook for updates, and join our Crusader chat on Discord by checking our link tree in the description down below. And you can download any previous episodes or listen on your mobile device through anchor.fm or search Nerd Crusade on your favorite podcast app. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, fellow Crusaders.
They call you the Daywalker, and you always vampire hunt at night. When do you sleep, Blade? And that's to be continued.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, go ahead and button mash a thumbs up. If you want to swing by when we have a new video, web up the sub button. Oh, and while you're at it, hit the bell to be notified by...